Hi guys, I want to read a touching story to me that has touched my heart every time, and it's timeless. Here we go. A tragic underscenes went back to me and said behind my back, "There are real ghosts." It talked like there was no blind shutters. Creeps drew me in with one casual glance, all servers offline. Before you start in, officer, can you tell me if it startles you that it was all real beef? She ate my fucking heart out of its core from the left side of my chest, inserted her sharp-like teeth, and said, "Can I have a look?" Before you got there, it was already reeling out in my mind. Actually, most of this was all true. Except when you have to do something about something, you have to do something about something. You have to do that one thing. That if you have that one thing, what it is. Anyways, going on to the next. She shyly went on to forward, her protruding teeth barreling by nature, and went dirty, nasty enough to shoot us a dirty look. The nerve of that woman, though, to pretend she's hiding beneath cellular doors. The autistic child stood in utter disbelief and recognized that the facial expressions of the demon were so far-fetched and out there. That detail that seemed to imply a little pressure beyond its measure told me everything. Well, I believe it explained itself. Get it out there for a change, folks. You cannot discipline the belief. Now can you go there? Who was getting played and he knew it? Yeah, this monster appeared to know every atom spiked by 2. She shrieked out loud that this was so much fun. She went on nastily enough with some atoms hanging from her chin, that she was having this time for her life in Barbie world. She tugged out the sailor's lines and went out sharply to pronounce Christianity her own. That would suggest that she has an utter belief that this word Christianity must have implied something beyond the derogatory courses of nature and myself. That would say that, imply that Jesus Christ is her leader and word of savior, someone that she will put her utmost pressurized trust into. It was her humble, earnest opinion that Christianity was the deepest, most unfound religion on the face of the world. That relies on death and destruction, correct? But don't tell anyone I know that, right? Well, if you don't know what the other card says, that, well, I still need to bite her fucking face out, bitch. Be like, yeah, well, when it's found, though, it's still found. But when you can't twist his words, you can't twist his words. No one even knew what that implied throughout the course of nature. To me, unusually enough, as it protested her last organ in his breast, Fatu, it came as a total surprise that no one caught on to the fact that was an unaccustomed religious opinion belittled by myself. However, she couldn't suppress the thought that those maggots lived in there. As if there was a voice catching on and saying,
"This is what must be. This is how I am. This is where I will live forever."
She crazily laughed about the utter incongruity of her situation and therefore coldly enough said rhetoric rot. She said this next one lays dibs on curses beyond their due measure. She coldly snapped back that they will feel it. They will feel it. Say it like that sentence says it. They will feel it. They will feel my wrath. God damn it. Yeah, just because I write the book, I go down by the book. I go down by the book. But when you can't get in there, you can't. The worm part. Oh, never mind. Ice ran through her veins when I told her that it was no joke. She tried to fixate her own thoughts outside the prism of time that detonated her own spiritual beliefs in things most people are rather caustic and or unassuming around. When she bit off that last round of wither that should count or not, she went on rather bitterly. that it was unfortunately unsafe to believe in monsters anymore. Well, he was the only one around that had been filling in the dots. Think about it. It wasn't that hard to figure out, people. I had to remind him that it was unfortunately against the odds to doubt that paradox at hand. At hand. Let's put caps on the at hand because that's apparently someone's fixation beyond measure that we cannot actually define in any any literary book will tell you the same thing. She cannot live without the eyes. She is in trouble. There we go. That's why I said it would not faze me if it's true that she can never live without the eyes. This, guys. Everyone else thinks that's a hard belief to believe in. Me, I know my sources, I guess. She knew it and went on to pronounce herself guilty enough for a dimension to slide out real quick and tug a part of Kenny into a safe place. Think about that shit. Indifferent as a host as he was to the vessels upon tiny vessels, she suggested that someone didn't care. When mommy don't care, do she tell daddy why she got Down's foot? Do she and think about why I don't care? I will care more when we get down for the count. She bitterly sewed up the open wounds of the good wholesome doctor that needed to be repaired, and no reaction of guilt or crazy looks were given into. Before she went there, she thought out loud that she wanted to soak in what meant something in there.
She cared so profoundly for healing what came naturally to her. Or was it the other way around?
As if she had to blind tape the ducks back together, back to another miscourse nature, and suggested that you don't take this too lightly. Was that a threat from afar, dude? If so, you get, oh my god, it's coming for me type. She knew it was no doubt measurelessly to try to slide it in there real quick between the means. She really needed it in there type. Type condition, psychological retardation in front of the eyes. This factual claim actually laid before my eyes before, and I would not indoctrinate him with delusions either there. Yeah, way. You little doctors with your roboted responses can go right to the reels and be like, I sucked it through a fucking tube, you little fraud. Yes, this was not wholly developed before its time under the presumption that act would give it all away. Yeah, you don't believe me, you go straight to hell. Think about it, do you guys study in class? Because if he's right, do I get a fucking reward or some shit? If this shit all rings a bell with everyone but me mostly in my thoughts, I would say yeah, then maybe I deserve something. Maybe so. She pushed between the dots and placed power in numbers below confidence and denoted the act to principal causes. Yes, the fact the child was suggested autistic, emoteless, facial cognitive feature gave me the impression that this would create a new scene. Apparently so. She went all in and made it weird in order to survive the incoming doubt. Her pulse was tracked back to the original crime, unseen. She blew off some smoke, and that had done Kenny in long before her time, made me believe in counter means. Apparently undiscoverable. Sitting down on Bigfoot and saying it real loudly, I love numbers. Well, that just went there and made it oddly off balance in order to just to say, eat me. Daddy's little girl, the fuck's that kid type shit, nigga. Me, myself, and I went up and delivered her sermons for her just for the sure courtesies check. You think? I always said this, it's an emotional roller coaster for a reason. It's all lethal. Or maybe the lethal kit part came before the, oh well, never mind. It went deep downs for two and said, we're going all in for this one. She tried to get naked when she was already naked. What would that mean, dog? What you saying, dog? She peeling it? She peeling that shit? That's good? He peered through her blankless stare and made counter means in case anything goes sour. Bad at results came in coming for her forever, and she didn't know it meant the disconstructive stuff. She poured out her heart in one literary text, and I wouldn't put it out there that two attacked her and made her pounce from dust. It hurried along the lines to ensure that would be fully fulfilled regardless. Fact checker. Amen. If you want facts, folk, start chewing down a little harder down on this text in your head rather than CNN's little fake podcast. Well, not when it's in reality, but when it's out there that you're in a real place with real stuff going on, it's really good, CNN. Think about it. Anyways, crunch down with some peanuts and say with your boys, it's not nice. It's not nice. It's not clean. It's not contaminated. But it's love that you gave away there. The way. The fucking way. To really grab a hold of what you need in favor of what is truly your own. Yeah, well, I wouldn't split even ends either there if you are truly knew what it was inside. In all boundaries zones, I simply let out a groan of pleasurable claws and made it weird that I needed more help than you. The news went down rather smoothly by all accounts. Yes, when all went down for one crazy, angry, funny Asian chick that never wanted to shout it out with me, beat it to it. What do you mean she wanted that in there, Kenny, and you didn't let it happen somehow? Well, she might want the somehow part, but me want element. Yeah, the sentence that said, "This is all going down," fulfilled all boundary dissolution. Or maybe it's true. Is it always bad in there, Ether, Kenneth? Because if so, you can tell me. Coldly went out in a sly-like manner that it must hurt the most when you can't fit your way back into that hole, derpy. It must have been clearly indifferent to the reaction, whilst a more compassionate host would take a kind means to fix that doubt. Two doubted endlessly and says it with me. By having two, you have won the big one. That makes sense? Okay. Well, that didn't go so well for my kind. Actually landed on a brutal note that said it would hurt forever. Guilty. Yeah, the way. Yeah! She would believe that sensitive branch of silence is fixating on pain undue measure for no reason. She was charged with slaughter over offline casually stitched out figures. She covered the copy and said to herself, "Don't tell no one you knew me." Hey, Kate, thanks, bye. It just needs it. It needs it the most.
You gotta slip it in by the printing press too? What?
In there. All the fucking way, and SpaghettiOs. Do not ignore what truly must be. Anyways, it didn't go so hot with the press when they actually print the things they believe should turn out to be. The woman could hardly cover her eyes for the concern of getting it back together, when out quick and out of an evil corner of embarrassed anger made it badder. Made it real bad. Like real bad, kids. Sizzle moves. Made the lie actuate. You think I'm famous now, dog? I think I'm under famous. Like, obscure without the doubt. You know what I mean, kid? Feel me, dig? Haha. Do not exhort. The rage and hormone fuel that made it her do it in isn't what led me to believe in she took an aggressive approach to the scenes. She went, yeah, you gun hear me. Get down too type. That was the funniest part when they were all online and we're just dissing this bitch the whole time. That's good. She strongly absorbed the inner criticism the good doctor had sent her way. Or if it went already all in there, premensal like, knowing what it's good for, would suggest, do not keep me beyond my means. She footballed it in there that it wasn't going down with the press. Okay. Unfortunately, Kenneth, presumed serial killers usually turn out to be that way. Typically enough, when we cannot pronounce ourselves for the flesh and meat we have turned out to be, the piece of skin that must be revealed, apparently so, Jesus Christ. We cannot delude ourselves upon the ones that disbelieve in the true matters of the heart, that the heart must be pulled out in any matter. And you know there, I wouldn't say it strongly clung to my heels. You know what I mean? She knew it. The psychologist in me would have given her short notice that she was not really in but out, and told on her for the fake ones, and couldn't tell her that Shakespeare never counted the mean streets. She found herself delusional upon the notion that emotional butterflies can make solid, dull instruments that imply pain. In short, their dimension had no limits, Kenny. She's right. She couldn't think of anything good to say. She conspired to hide every inch and cranny of what it was she was doing. As she measly measured her guilt before going out there, she placed herself in no man's shoes and took advantage of her period of advantage and dominance against shy, unassuming, expressionless blanks whom were her enemy. She stitched it up with she stitched it up with her own bare hands and made claims of dominating her own inner nature, striking out not as often as she did for the art of making her indeed afraid. Hastily roughed up for a second and went under her breath. This is getting harder. It took a lot of careful precision and grace to take it all away or give in to what she really needed. What he means is, she was really shocked that it wasn't coming down so hard. Whatever that means. She breathlessly captivated herself on this inner beauty. She held it all in and gasped and made it all in there in due time, using some help from me, but not her queenly prospects instigated upon. No entrance or exit in Derby. She waited for eternities. Can we get back to the fourth one and say, do they really have four? Do they really have four? For eternities went on when you said four. Stupid. Stop giving me away, retard. Anyways, where are we? For someone to wake up her from her, what she liked to call, an inner prospect from God. I told her the God guy was in there too. He is in there. God's in there to say, it's gonna get good soon. He means it, right? He means it? He means it's good? It's good, right? Yes, that's what that was about. Oh my god, she thought someone was putting her on. I thought she was just in there. Really. Real talk. The way. She had a voice. I didn't know that. I thought she was just bottled up. Way. Her hands were gun needed to be watered down a little more too. But when you are into counting fours, when it's all over and your hands clean, you still need to put it all back together again. Modestly, Commander under his breath, realizing that perhaps it wasn't too necessary to go there. It was blatantly evil around myself when it uttered that this one would be felt. Did it all go out for too long ago? I have no idea other than greed and ambitions to pursue. It fell on her harshly that all of this was just a bad dream, cloaked between seamlessly real bad. She went out hesitantly and couldn't minimize the doubt. Doubt yourself in the showers after the real goons out you mean. She strongly hung on to that last inner tie, and strongly let out the most passionate eye candy eye sausage cry I have ever heard, that it must have been her, not mine. She demoralized myself for moral intent for getting her out of there. The lines gave out a distant blur of relief and big assurance that things weren't so bad after all. When she got it all back working again, she knew what this meant in due measure, people in due measure. Sometimes things are meant to be fixated on. But when you can't do it in two, you can't do it in two type. I think there's a riddle at the end of that sentence, but I'm not going to tell you.